So we got some big updates for our Baltimore Ravens ahead of this huge matchup with the Buffalo Bills in the divisional round of the playoffs. The Ravens just moved from 1-point underdogs to 1-point favorites. It's the first time Buffalo's ever been an underdog at home in the playoffs since 1970. Their last 18 games at home in the playoffs, they've been favored. And we're going to talk about why that is, why that point line just shifted, and a key stat that you need to know. We also have a big statement from Rich Eisen on Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry, some Super Bowl predictions. We have a speech from Derrick Henry that you need to hear, some key stats and big-time insights on the Buffalo Bills defense, a fun story from Rashad Bateman, and much more. So welcome into another episode of Ravens Reports. It's your guy Noah here with For the Flock, as always, bringing you guys our top 5 news reports and storylines coming out of our Baltimore Ravens. Today, at number 1, I need you guys to see this real quick. I think Josh Allen has had an incredible season. I think he's super talented. I just don't think he matches up well with the Baltimore Ravens, their team as a whole, and I'm feeling very comfortable, very confident about this game, more so than I was against the divisional rival Pittsburgh Steelers that's had, Lamar Jackson's number in recent years, but I feel much different about this game. We'll talk about why, but one stat I want to show you about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, there's a lot of narratives about their playoff success. Josh Allen has a 6-5 record in the playoffs, but these numbers can be a little bit deceiving. If you would just leave it at that, this is what you guys need to see. Josh Allen versus top 6 seeds, so the 1 seed through the 6 seed in the NFL playoff bracket is 2-5 in his career. He has 4 wins to 0 losses against the 7th seed because the Bills have had the second highest seed several times in Josh Allen's career, which I would always put them against the lowest remaining seed. And Josh Allen has taken care of those teams. He's 4-0 against the lowest seed, but 2-5 against the top 6. And Lamar Jackson is now 3-4 in the playoffs. Now, Lamar Jackson has never played a 7th seed, but he has played the top 6 seeds several times, and he's 3-4 in those games. Just wanted to show you this graphic real quick, and also a very key stat that is so pertinent to this game. The reason why I feel like the Ravens match up so well against the Buffalo Bills, check this out, guys. The Ravens went with multiple backs or tight ends, or both. So big personnel, heavy personnel. We're talking, 12 personnel, 22 personnel, 21, 13, those type of heavy packages where you have multiple running backs or tight ends on the field. They went with those type of formations on 89% of their snaps in the wild card matchup versus the Pittsburgh Steelers. This season, the Bills defense used their base personnel on just 3.6% of snaps. So having the extra linebackers and the defensive linemen, essentially they were nickel defense like 97% of their time, where they had an extra defensive back on the field. That's just the structure of their defense, their DNA, what they like to do. That is the lowest rate in the league. In fact, they ran dime, 6 defensive backs instead of 5, which is nickel, on 16% of snaps, which is 12th. So they like to use a lot of 5 and 6 DB packages. Point is, the Ravens like to use a lot of tight ends and running backs. Well, because quite honestly, they have a lot of really good ones. They have an awesome fullback, Pro Bowl, all-pro type of fullback in Patrick Ricard. They have a 260-pound monster Hall of Fame running back in Derrick Henry. They got Justice Hill. They have Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely, Charlie Kohler, all these really talented tight ends and running backs that you want out there on the field. And not only can those guys run block, but they can catch passes, which makes us difficult to defend. So this is a strength on weakness type of matchup when it comes to personnel usage, where the Bills could get bullied if they try to stay in their nickel. So what I'm trying to say is, if the Bills try to stay the same and run what they're comfortable with, run what they're used to, they could very well get ran over and bullied like they did in week 4 whenever Derrick Henry had over 160 rushing yards in that game. And I need you guys to see this as well, okay? So the Buffalo Bills, if you look at rushing yards total, or rushing yards per game, they are 12th best in the NFL when it comes to their run defense. But I need you to see why that number can be deceiving, because when it comes to yards per carry, they dropped to 19th best in the NFL, and they allow an average of 4.5 yards per carry. And you got to think, that was against a lot of teams that don't run the football like we do. And that was against a pretty soft schedule that the Bills played this year. And I'm not trying to hate on the Buffalo Bills, but look at the strength of schedule that they played compared to the Baltimore Ravens. It really doesn't compare. So they're 19th in yards per carry. They like to stay in nickel defense. That's why I think this is a matchup problem for the Buffalo Bills. There's other aspects of it as well, but that's a big part of it. At number 2, Rich Eisen speaks on Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. And by the way, this game is projected to be about 17 degrees, a chance of snow on Sunday. So talk about wanting to run the football and, the opposing defense getting tired of tackling Derrick Henry in 17-degree weather with Patrick Ricard of 270 pounds of muscle running downhill. Just look out for these type of factors as well. But Rich Eisen, he speaks on, just the perfect pairing that Derrick Henry and Lamar are together, the performance of Lamar Jackson and much more. Man, go ahead and take a listen.
Switch came after their, but the Ravens have flipped the old switch, and that switch came after their bye week. Their bye week happened late. Their bye week happened in week 14. And after the Ravens lost to the Eagles at home, they have won 5 in a row, the exact opposite of the Steelers. The Steelers lost their last 5. The Ravens have won their last 5, and their defense has been lights out. Top 2 in many different categories since week 14. But the reason why the Ravens look the way they look is because they may have an argument here. There's an argument. They may have the 2 best offensive players in the NFL. And they certainly have the best quarterback-running back combination in the NFL, with all due respect to Jalen Hurts. Hey, Lamar Jackson's out of his skull. And you look at the AP voters who voted for the All-Pro list. They are the same voters who will vote for the MVP, and they made Lamar Jackson first-team All-Pro quarterback, which means it looks like he's going to be the MVP. And, I could go on and on and on and on about how his stats this, his stats that from the regular season. But it was all about now. It's all about now. And when I say it was all about now, the was is Derrick Henry's signing. I know you hate me bringing it up, TJ, but it's the truth in terms of the reality of roster building and things of that nature. Ravens could have easily run it back. Same roster. They could have gone all in that regard, right? They could have gone all in, meaning we're running it back. We get beat by the Chiefs. Zay Flowers has that ball knocked out. We could have won that game. Zay Flowers leaping for the end zone. He gets in 99% out of 100 times. That's a 1 in 100 shot of having the ball knocked out. We could have gone all in.
He had that penalty.
Yeah, could have gone all in. And the reason why they signed Derrick Henry is for right now. And no Zay Flowers, he's out. Bateman scores a touchdown. Lamar's doing the running thing. But guess what they needed to do as well? While the Steelers were struggling, run it down their throat. And not just with Lamar, with Derrick friggin' Henry as well. And, this combination is unlike anything we've seen, because we haven't seen someone like Lamar, right?
No.
And now you add to the mix a 31-year-old who's running like a 21-year-old. And what Derrick Henry is doing is truly one of the most incredible performances I think I have ever seen as a 31-year-old. But this is the one that's the difference. This is the stat that just says it all here. His 186 rushing yards are almost triple as many rush yards as any running back has had previously in a Lamar Jackson playoff start. The most rushing yards the Ravens have had in support of Lamar's running and passing. In Lamar's playoff history, in which he was 2-4, and everyone, oh, you beat Tannehill. Congratulations, Mr. MVP. You beat C.J. Stroud in his first ever rookie road start. Congrats. 186 rushing yards are triple the number of most rushing yards he's ever received in support Justice Hill had 66 yards rushing in that win over the Texans last year. You could add, and then Gus Edwards had 20 in the AFC Championship game. So that's what, 86, correct? 66 and 20 is 86?
Correct.
Derrick Henry had 186. 100 on top of the...
So here is Derrick Henry himself. You guys know how fired up he is. He wants a ring, man. He was on the Tennessee Titans for his entire career before coming to Baltimore. And they had one good run where they made it to the AFC Championship and fell short, and that was the run in 2019 where they knocked Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens, who were the 1 seed, out of the playoffs in the divisional round. So here's what Derrick Henry had to say post-game, and let's listen to it together here.
3 more, man. 3 more. Believe. One day at a time. Practice, execution, so it becomes game reality. I feel like we do that every week, man. Believe, stay focused, stay locked in. Everything we
So he says 3 more games. Buffalo Bills divisional, probably Kansas City in the AFC Championship, could be the Texans if they upset the Chiefs, and then the Super Bowl. 3 more games, the Ravens are Super Bowl champions. They got close last year but fell short in the AFC Championship. And Derrick Henry said last week, man, it's got to be different. And he says, we feel that, we know that. I feel really good about this football team, man. It just feels like stuff is lining up. They're hot right now. The defense is playing so well. But at number 4, I know one guy that when he catches a touchdown, the Ravens win. In fact, when Rashad Bateman has caught a touchdown this season, the Ravens are 9-0. So Rashad caught 8 touchdowns throughout the year in the regular season, and they were 8-0 in those games. Rashad caught a touchdown against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and they won in that. So they're now 9-0 on the season when Rashad catches a touchdown. Rashad Bateman going to have to step up big if Zay Flowers can't go in this game, especially if the Buffalo Bills, come out of that nickel package and they decide to sell out against the run and, just clog the line of scrimmage and just absolutely refuse to get beat by Derrick Henry and Lamar on the ground. Then guess what? Our guy Lamar Jackson has won in several types of ways this season. I remember when the Broncos, who had one of the best defenses in the NFL, the defensive coordinator said, we got to sell out to stop the run. They did so, and Lamar Jackson put up like 350 passing yards and like 4 passing touchdowns, and it was an absolute onslaught. I think the Ravens put up 41 points to 7. So Lamar Jackson absolutely capable in this second year of this Todd Monken offense that has answers for with a comprehensive downfield passing attack, Rashad Bateman and the tight ends being a big part of that to help carry the load in the absence of Zay Flowers, and then Nelson Aguilar, Talon Wallace bringing up the back end of that wide receiver room. I'm just saying, man, the Ravens are capable of winning in multiple ways. Obviously, they want to, get the run game established. But if a team wants to absolutely sell out and leave their DBs one-on-one, I'm cool with that. I like Mark Andrews one-on-one. I like Isaiah Likely one-on-one. I like Rashad Bateman one-on-one. Especially because you can only cover a one-on-one for so long whenever you have the world's most athletic quarterback in the universe back there making guys miss, one of the least sacked quarterbacks in the NFL this season because of how elusive he is. When he buys time back there, you can only cover man-to-man so long before a guy gets loose. But going on with what we were saying with Rashad Bateman, he had a funny story about his welcome to the NFL moment whenever he was being interviewed by Shannon Sharp on his podcast, and he had a story for his from his teammate Roquan Smith whenever he was still in Chicago. Take a listen.
Babe, what was your welcome to the NFL moment?
My rookie year, Roquan, my team now. But we went to Chicago, bro, knocked my helmet off. I ain't never had that before. In my whole career playing for White, never had my helmet knocked off. I said, yeah, these boys getting paid. I said, let me tighten up.
Did he catch you slipping?
Yeah, he caught me slipping. Caught a little screen, caught color screen, cut back. Yeah, helmet came off.
So he says that Roquan Smith knocked his helmet off. That is the type of linebacker that is just a thoroughbred Baltimore through and through dog type of linebacker. And that guy will be traveling to Buffalo to set that tone, that same physicality, that same type of message that wants to run through your face. He's bringing that to Buffalo, and part of the reason why I feel good about this game as well. But at number 5, you guys can remember earlier in the year, whenever we talked about wide receiver depth, if Zay or Bate went down, we said, hey, how's the depth after that? How would you feel about, Rashad Bateman being your number 1 and Nelson Aguilar being your 2 heading into a playoff game? Well, that actually is happening right now, right? Because if Zay can't go, that's what's going to happen. And obviously the Ravens have Derrick Henry and other guys to help make up for it, and they got the best quarterback in the world right now. But we talked about depth, and then the Ravens actually pulled the trigger, traded for Deontay Johnson, which was a great depth move. It would have been nice if he actually came in here and integrated well with the talent that he has to be the number 2 right now, or to be that depth if Zay Flowers can't go. Obviously didn't work out. Off the field type of stuff, whatever happened, I can only speculate, but he was released by the Ravens. Obviously before that he was with Carolina, before that he was with Pittsburgh, and then he was waived by the Ravens, picked up by the Texans, who were desperate for a wide receiver after losing Tank Dell, and now the Texans just released Deontay Johnson after the wild card win against the LA Chargers. It was reported that some stuff happened in the locker room, and they released him. So I wish nothing but the best for Deontay Johnson and his future of his career. Hopefully, whatever needs to happen, whatever changes he needs to make, whatever can happen. But as of right now, if you were to ask me if I think Zay Flowers is going to play in this game, I'd probably guess no. It was the original report was that there was an outside chance that he could be ready to go for the divisional round if the Ravens advanced to the wild card. Obviously they did. So now we're in that outside chance range. And, it's going to be a cold game. It's going to be physical, divisional. Obviously, you're not guaranteed to move past it. So you want all your guys. You want Zay Flowers to go. But if he's not close to 90%, if there's a risk of re-injury, you don't want to risk a long-term injury. And especially if it could just another week, if the Ravens get advanced past Buffalo and get to the AFC Championship, and then obviously you're thinking long-term as well with the Super Bowl, you want your guys, Zay Flowers, available for those big games, and you don't want to risk a re-injury type of thing. So let me know in the comment section below if you think Zay Flowers is going to play or not, but I can't wait for this game in Buffalo, man. We'll have our official preview coming out for you guys in the next few days, and obviously all kinds of other updates and stuff as they come. So make sure you have your subscribe and notification bell on so we can keep you up to date on all your Ravens news, man. Smash the like button if you got any value out of today's content. I love you guys. Appreciate y'all, and we'll see you in the next video.
Ray, when he wasn't looking, he ran me over.